Hello everyone, welcome to GS Core. So in our series of current affairs through MCQs for governance, we are back with another session. So in this session, like the previous sessions, we are going to take up certain MCQs based on governance. So let us get started. The Union Cabinet approved the establishment of a National Institute of Soga. Which of the following statement is incorrect with reference to it? Consider the following statements in this regard. Well, if you recall, Soga was added in the Ayush category, Ayurveda, Unani, naturopathy, Siddha, homeopathy, etc. So, the National Institute of Soga is definitely to promote research on that. Okay, so let us look at the set of statements. Soga is a Tibetan system of medicine that is similar to Ayurveda in theory and practice. That is correct. NISR is going to be established at Gangtok in Sikkim. Maybe. It will be an autonomous organization under Ministry of Ayush. That is correct. It has been popularly practiced in Sikkim and Union Territory of Ladakh. Well, indeed, Soga is practiced in the Buddhist dominated regions of northeast state like Sikkim and Ladakh, Union Territory of Ladakh. But where will the institute be established? Because it's practiced at both the places. So it's a highly factual question. So if you have been following the news, then you can get the answer, but otherwise it can be really confusing because the other three statements are very generic and very correct. So if we look at, the idea was to establish at Leh, that is in the Ladakh UT. So the second statement is incorrect. Hence the option for us to mark would be B, because we have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding the India Child Wellbeing Index. The report is released by World Bank, maybe. Kerala topped the chart in the Child Wellbeing Index, again maybe. The index captured the performance of each state and union territory, maybe. Well, if it is indeed a global sort of a body coming up with an index, will it look at every state and union territory? Unlikely, right? Or if it looks at, if it is indeed released by a World Bank, then this statement is incorrect. So these kind of permutation and combinations can really confuse you until and unless you know the fact here that India's Child Wellbeing Index is regarding what? Rest are the factual aspects. So if we look at the set of statements given to us, the first statement becomes incorrect because only I know the stakeholder mapping, not much. Even if I know the stakeholder mapping, that it is released by World Vision India and Research Institute IFMR lead. Only this much. Then even if I deduce that first statement is incorrect, I can very well reach the option, that is B, right? Otherwise, it's very difficult for me to actually attempt this question because this index is not that well known index, right? So be very careful. Okay, be very, very careful. Next. Consider the following statements regarding Darwaza Band campaign in India. It was launched by Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, maybe. It aims to promote toilet use and freedom from open defecation, true. It has been supported by World Bank, maybe. So Darwaza Band campaign was very much in news, and it was something which is related to the open defecation. So all the three statements seem correct. It is indeed supported by World Bank, right? Especially the part 2 of the Darwaza Band campaign. So all the three statements are correct. Hence, the correct answer to mark is option D. Option D. Moving on. Which of the following statements is or are correct about Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana? It is a comprehensive package which aims to create modern infrastructure with efficient supply chain management from farm gate to retail outlet. Yes, that is correct. So there might be multiple schemes in farm sector. Some might be related to insurance, fertilizers, right? Overall logistics, storage, water needs, etc. So always the theme mapping related to schemes help you. PMKSY is implemented by Ministry of Food Processing and Industries. True. Remember the stakeholder mapping I talk about always. So through the theme mapping and stakeholder mapping, without knowing much details, we can actually identify that both the statements here are correct. Hence the correct option to mark would be option C. Option C. Moving on. A campaign was launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs to bring beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban into the fold of other central schemes such as Ujjwala and Ayushman Bharat. Which was the name of this campaign? Well, often news, TV ads, etc. take up these campaigns and all. Like we had Darwaza Band, right, campaign. Okay. So similarly, these campaigns are covered that ways. So if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. So it's a highly fact-based thing. So the answer to this question is Angikar campaign. Angikar campaign. The idea was to bring about convergence in these various government schemes along with the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements about project Shuri. If we look at the project, it was indeed launched by the Union Textile Ministry, right? And the second statement, it aims to contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Yes, that is also correct. Why? Because it is about a sustainable resolution. Okay, basically towards sustainable fashion, right? And hence the idea was that it can contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So if you've heard about this, then you can easily answer this. Otherwise, it is a risky question, right? So both the statements in this case are correct, and hence the correct option would be option C. Option C. Moving on. Consider the following statements regarding the National Pension Scheme for traders and self-employed persons. This scheme, especially the pension sector, is in news because of the OPS, NPS. So this brings other pension schemes into focus. If you want to refer to this, India Yearbook or India 2023 covers this, right? So let us look at the statements. Under this scheme, all the shopkeepers, retail traders and self-employed persons are assured a minimum monthly pension of rupees 3,000 per month after attaining the age of 60. That is correct. The age to enroll for this scheme is 18 to 40 years. That is also correct. The scheme is based on self-declaration as no documents are required except Aadhaar and bank account. Yes, that is also correct. Okay. There are other conditions like the beneficiary should not be income taxpayer and not a member of EPFO, ESIC, NPS, PMSYM, etc. So to include the unincluded, which are not included in the other social security net, they are to be included under, or they can enroll themselves under this scheme. So all the three statements are correct. Hence, the correct answer to mark would be option D. Option D. Moving on. So match the following kind of a thing in governance. We need to match the water management initiative and the states. Again, factual, right? But if you can deduce it to some extent, either through the language or the vocabulary being used, you can still deduce the answer, but you should conclusively know. At the same time, you should know if one of them is wrong, then you can use the elimination, right? So if I look at the scheme, the water management initiative and the state, it is this second Neeru Chettu program which is incorrectly matched. Here the state of Telangana is written, but in actual it is the state of Andhra. So second matching is wrong and I can very conveniently eliminate the options. Hence the correct answer would be option number C. Option number C. But only if you know them factually. Jalyukt Shivir Abhiyan was very popular in Maharashtra. It was covered in news, especially in the parched region of Vidarbha. So that was an easy catch, but you know it is found in three options and hence it was difficult. Moving on to the next question. Internet Sati program aims to achieve which of the following objectives? So it was Google which launched the Internet Sati program, and the idea was to empower rural women on how to use internet, right? And gradually it included states, one state after the other, right? And is spread across 20 plus states now. So the idea is to educate rural women on how to use internet. Hence the correct answer is option B. Factual again. If you know, you know. If you know, don't, you don't. Next. India Health of the Nation States report has been released by which of the following organizations? Again, a report and the organization. So the stakeholder mapping I always talk about is again giving you answer to this question. It is the ICMR. Hence the correct answer is B. Whatever be the contents of the report, at least if I know the stakeholder, right, I can identify the, or I can reach to the correct option. In this case, it is the ICMR along with the Public Health Foundation of India. And Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation. It is their combined energies which actually lead to the Health of Nation States report. That is something which is important. Okay, so that's all for this particular session. You can attempt more such interesting MCQs by scanning this QR code or by visiting the link in the description, not just for governance but for all subjects related to the prelims examination, right? Thank you.